venerable as the Hindu which is known for very conservative journalism, very serious journalism, and Mr. N. Ram keeps talking about, on the 2G scam, you should have heard him. He was like sermonizing from the pulpit. He sermonizes on just about everything, everywhere. And here, even the news anchors, even those people who should know better, who otherwise always come up with a fire and brimstone speech on just about every subject. On just about every subject, they scream bloody blue murder all over the place. They're treating N. Ram with kid gloves. They're saying, all right, Ram, why did you do this? Hey, don't you think you should have exercised restraint? What is the matter? Why are we doing this? I mean, I find this horrible. I find people, this is like an old boys club. This is like you scratch my back, I scratch yours. And it was the most shameful, most embarrassing, and to be very frank with you, the most un-Indian and unpatriotic sight that I ever saw. Pradeep.
Exactly, sir. People call them eminent, respected, learned, and established eminent institutions. And the very fact, it is just question you ask yourself, whether these kind of photographs are going to motivate the people, what message are you sending out to the entire nation, to the state, or to the world? What message are you giving to the world? Look at the bloodshed. Look at how terror has dented India's backbone. How India can't fight terrorism. What are you trying to show to the people? I mean, a little self-regulation or a little introspection would tell them that this is not what the people need. This is not what the nation needs. This is not the message that we're giving to the nation, that we are bundled out in trucks, people killed, loaded, people without limbs, people with all bloodshed all over the place. And the entire property is destroyed. And this is a victorious sign for the terrorists. They get motivated. They get enhanced. The terrorists, master the terrorists. They are motivated by the entire thing. This gives to more a sort of accomplishment and sense of doing things, a sense of creating the acts of destruction and showing the despair of the nation. Rather, as you said, there needs to be a message given out that this is not going to be affected. The terrorists have not achieved their aims and goals for which they have set out here. And the terrorists are going to be given back the same coin. The entire network to be destroyed. As you highlighted, the people expect something from eminent, respected journalists who have got years of experience behind them. Their acts, their methods, their conduct should inspire it should be a source of inspiration to the entire nation. But if you're going to highlight this kind of bloodshed, if you're going to highlight the way people without limbs, people being bundled out in trucks, just put out in heaps in trucks, I mean, you're giving a wrong picture to the entire nation. You're breaking the morale of the people. You are not giving the sentiment that everything is fine. You're giving a sentiment of total destruction, despair, death, everything out there, and nothing is right. These things have to be controlled. Self-regulation has to be imposed by these respected journalists, as you call it. These respected journalists have to show the way to the people. They have to show that the morale of the nation cannot be broken by any terrorist attack, however big they are. And I mean, this is absolutely shocking to the people, because we have been interacting with a lot of people. The very fact that these things are being published in eminent newspapers, established newspapers, is giving a sense of, the morale of the entire nation is sinking. The morale is sinking. I mean, this is not what the people expect from eminent newspapers and established persons.
At the end of the day, Pradeep, what we were discussing just before the show started, these terrorists need finance, all right? These terrorists need money. And this money comes to them from their sponsors only after the kind of mayhem that they have created. If you've created a lot of mayhem, if you've killed a lot of people, and if there is evidence of a lot of dead bodies, if there is evidence of a lot of lamentation, if there is evidence of a lot of, pain and agony that you've caused, you get more money. And that's exactly what seems to have happened over here. Now, here, I must make the point here. It is true that even on this channel, we have shown pictures taken by Sebastian D'Souza, who works for Associated Press, of the bodies lying at CST, PT station, after 26/11. But we showed them 1 year later. We showed them 2 years later. We showed them in 2009. We showed them in 2010, 1 year later. 2010 में हम लोगों ने दिखाया, 2009 में नहीं दिखाया. I did not show it at that time. And if asked to do it again, I would not show it again. I would not show it again. My point is, And we tried as far as possible to pixelate stuff. We tried as far as possible not to show too much of blood and too much of gore, too many, limbless bodies lying over the place. We didn't want to show that. But for the Hindu, and by the way, for a couple of other papers as well, to show dead bodies of our people. हम लोगों के शव, हमारे परिजनों के शव, हमारे भारतवासियों के शव भेड़ बकरियों की तरह ट्रक के अंदर लादे हुए, खून से लथपथ, किसी की टांग नहीं, किसी का सिर नहीं, किसी का हाथ नहीं. मतलब what? We show that? I mean, are we working for the terrorists here? Are we working for the terrorist organizations here? I mean, they would all be, if I don't know whether they are permitted to have alcohol or not, but they would all be breaking bottles of champagne at the moment. They would all be opening up bottles of champagne. Or they would all be planning out their new strike. Hey, let's do this. Because our greatest ally happens to be the Indian media. They publish pictures of all the carnage that we can bring about. So let's do it again. And again, and again, and again. That's what must be going through the terror network at the moment. Now, suppose no one had published those dead bodies. अगर मान लीजिए प्रदीप, किसी ने वो डेड बॉडीज नहीं पब्लिश की होती, किसी ने एक भी तस्वीर नहीं पब्लिश की होती किसी भी शव की, you would have had these guys worried. You would have had them worried. इन सब लोगों को ये फिक्र हो जाता कि असल में हुआ क्या. प्रदीप.
Exactly, sir. Exactly. That is, I mean, these pictures, as you said, the mangled bodies, the bodies without limbs, the bloodshed everywhere, is acting as a catalyst to inspire the terrorists and motivate more acts of terror. Inspire the masters of the terrorists to, fund these kind of operations and give more funds for these kind of operations that will affect the nation, affect the state, and affect these, enhance these terrorist activities. As you said, what we need to do is blank the entire thing off. So there's nothing for these terrorists to see. Even in the earlier attack, when 26/11 was on, you find all the terrorist organizations were actually into Indian television news channels and seeing what is the latest that is happening. In fact, it was adding as a fodder to them, adding as a fodder to the masters of terrorism, adding, enhancing their ability to claim more money, to claim more funds, to get more funds to inflict damage and terrorist activities in India. What we require is, as you said, blank these things off. These things are not highlighted as they should be highlighted now, and they are being highlighted now. And we need a sort of self-regulation among these respected eminent journalists that you name, that they themselves impose some sort of control over self-regulation over what they show and what they want to print and how much you go to highlight the entire crime that has happened and how this will not motivate the terrorists. I mean, these acts of blanking out the entire or sort of censorship on showing out what to be telecast and what not to be telecast, the mangled remains, the blood pouring out, the broken limbs, the shattered properties, these things ought not to be shown. These are going to motivate the terrorists. These are going to help the terrorist designs. These are going to inspire the mass of the terrorists into releasing more funds for such kind of terrorist activities. This is going to help, motivate the sleeper cells that are already existing in all the states of India. The sleeper cells are absolutely active. In fact, when Pervez Musharraf himself said that now a new group of sleeper cells have their fists completely in the southern part of India. Now, when you go on showing these kind of acts, you're inspiring these sleeper cells to get to wake up again, to start the networking again, to start the coordination again. This is not to be highlighted. This is not to be shown. There has to be some sort of self-regulation, and self-regulation has to come from these eminent journalists, these respected, learned, eminent men, to understand what to publish, what not to publish.
That's right.
So that this doesn't motivate these kind of terrorist activities further.
And by the way, it's not a question of the fact that people are going to get disturbed over it. I'm not concerned with that. The truth can be very disturbing. Sometimes if it is very good for people to know exactly what has happened, I would rather show it. For example, when a farmer commits suicide, I would show it. अगर कोई किसान मान लीजिए आत्महत्या करता है तो मैं उसको दिखाऊंगा, इसलिए दिखाऊंगा क्योंकि वो हमारा मसला है, हमारा मामला है. हमारी सरकार ने कुछ उल्टी सीधी चीजें करी हैं जिसकी वजह से किसान ने आत्महत्या की है, वो मैं जरूर दिखाऊंगा. हमारा जो इंटरनल मैटर है, आंतरिक चीजें जो हमारी हैं वो जरूर दिखानी चाहिए. लेकिन आतंकवादी इस देश के ऊपर, उस देश को तितर बितर करने के लिए, इस देश का मनोबल तोड़ने के लिए, अगर आज की तारीख में हम पर हमला करते हैं, मुझ पर और आप कर, तो वो दिखाने की आवश्यकता नहीं है हमें। हाँ, ये जरूर दिखाने की आवश्यकता है, आतंकवादियों का हमला हुआ, इस प्रकार हुआ, कैसे हुआ, वगैरह वगैरह वगैरह, आई विटनेसेस के अकाउंट, जो भी आपको देना हो जरूर दीजिए। और साथ में ये भी दिखाइए, हाँ इतने लोग मरे हैं, इतने लोग जख्मी हैं, लेकिन जख्मियों के जख्म दिखाने, लोग खून से लथपथ दिखाने, अस्पतालों की कंडीशन दिखानी, मतलब व्हाट इज दिस? This is terrible. This virtually comes out as an activity where you are actively collaborating with these people. आप आतंकवादियों की मदद कर रहे हैं, आप ये सब दिखा करके असल में आतंकवादियों को और ज्यादा ताकतवर कर रहे हैं। आप आतंकवादियों के जितने भी मंसूबे हैं फुलफिल कर रहे हैं, आप जाकर के उनका काम कर रहे हैं। क्योंकि आपकी एक तस्वीर जब छपती है वो तस्वीर नेट पर छपेगी, वो तस्वीर यूट्यूब में आएगी, वो तस्वीर फेसबुक पर आएगी, वो तस्वीर ट्विटर में जाएगी, वो तस्वीर हर सोशल नेटवर्किंग साइट पर जाएगी, और पूरे दुनिया में ये हो जाएगा कि हिंदुस्तान खून के आंसू रो रहा है। और यही वो चाहते हैं। आज जैसे आपने एक उदाहरण दिया था, जॉर्ज डब्ल्यू बुश जब ग्राउंड जीरो पर गए, यानी 9/11 वाले दिन, सितंबर 11 के बाद जब प्रेसिडेंट जॉर्ज डब्ल्यू बुश वहां पर गए वर्ल्ड ट्रेड सेंटर पर, क्या कहा जॉर्ज डब्ल्यू बुश ने? उसने ये कहा कि आप जहां मर्जी छुपे हैं, वेयर एवर यू आर हाइडिंग वी आर कमिंग आफ्टर यू, यू कैन रन बट यू कांट हाइड, एंड वी विल कम आफ्टर यू, वी विल नॉट लीव यू। व्हाई कांट दैट काइंड ऑफ विल पावर, व्हाई कांट दैट काइंड ऑफ स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ कैरेक्टर, व्हाई कांट दैट काइंड ऑफ स्टफ कम फ्रॉम आवर लीडर्स? हमारे जो नेता हैं उस किस्म की भाषा क्यों नहीं बोल सकते? चलिए भाषा मत बोलिए, एक्शन तो करके दिखाइए। 1993 से लेकर के 2011 तक 14 आतंकवादी हमले हो चुके हैं मुंबई शहर में, 14 एंड वी आर अगेन सेइंग द सेम थिंग, वी विल सी इट डज नॉट हैपन अगेन, वी विल सी दिस डज नॉट हैपन। What are we here for? Are we what, lambs to the slaughter? You can come in over here, kill us and go away, and our government will keep saying exactly the same thing. People will rush down over here, fly down over here.